I didn't do this stuff. This is not me. I'm fighting for my life. Y'all killing me with this. I gave y'all 30 years of my career.
Robert.
30 years of my career. And y'all trying to kill me.
The rage, the crime.
Welcome to the Only Male Cruise Show, the podcast. I am the Only Male Cruise. Be sure to hit the like button, share, subscribe, leave a comment. You know I want to hear from you. Copyright disclaimer regarding fair use is in full effect. The views and opinions expressed in this show, you guessed it, they're all mine. Let's go to work. Welcome to the Only Male Cruise Show, the podcast. I am the Only Male Cruise. I tried to get here on time, y'all, but just before the show started, Sylvia sent over a plate of steak. You heard me? Okay. We got infamous Sylvia as a guest today, and y'all just don't even know. I'm so excited. The main reason is because Sylvia has been doing some celebrity vlogging for a while. As y'all know, she was recently gave everyday updates on the Cardi B, Tasha K trial. She covered the R. Kelly court case in New York. She's currently covering it now for the one that's going on in Illinois. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome infamous Sylvia. Hey, Sylvia, how you doing?
Hi, Mel. I'm good. How are you?
I'm super duper. I'm so thankful to you for agreeing to do this interview with me because you got all the answers. Okay.
No, not all.
You got enough of them. You got enough of the answer. Now let me greet my folks in the chat because I sure do appreciate all y'all showing up. Let's see. Antoinette's in the house. Thank you so much for showing up. We got Slums Radio. Love you so much. Sonia. Hey, what's up, y'all? So Pretty Brown Eyes. Y'all be sure to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. You know I want to hear from you. And I promise you I'm going to get to all these comments in here. But let's get started with So Sylvia, I tried to find out from you yesterday. And I know you were super duper busy. Now, other than the Cardi B and R. Kelly, what other celebrity trials have you covered, if any?
Well, I haven't been to the other ones, but I did, like everybody else, copy off of what other people were doing.
Sure.
Like I don't know if you can call him a celebrity, but Michael Avenatti's case.
Yeah.
On that.
Yeah.
As well as I did, not specifically with Bill Cosby, but I was part of the group that, not part of it, but I participated in a lot of with Nicole. She's Nicole View. She's the one who's been like doing the art, was doing Bill Cosby when he was in jail. Oh. So I was behind, working with them, not with them, but
Yeah, you were following it. Yeah.
Following, that's the best word.
Yeah, getting them details. And that's why you was able to send that plate of steak over to me. I said, Lord, where is my steak knife and my fork? Okay. So let me do this in order so I don't get out of shape. So you gave everyday updates on the Cardi B. This is you and Cardi B. Yes. How was that with Cardi B? Clearly you got a chance to meet her. How did you like your interaction with her?
It was very, very close and impersonal. The reason why I say close and impersonal is because when the first day when they were doing jury selection, It was myself and one other person, and I was taken all the way up where she was sitting, and I sat next to Cardi and in the jury selections part. And then at that point is when she had some conversations with me.
Awesome. That's awesome. That's nice. And for you to have a picture with her like this is clearly a connection. Some level of connection was made. So that's awesome. That's awesome.
In fact, she took my phone, and because I couldn't switch it over to the camera part, so she took my phone itself, and she was like, somebody please screenshot this, and she was doing it with me, and she was like, "Girl, come on over here and take a picture."
See,
so, yeah.
See, that's sweet. I love me some Cardi B.
I really got it. When I tell you she's a sweetheart, because during the trial, there were some videos being shown. I saw how it affected her. And that later that evening, I mean, it was placed in my spirit to go ahead and get her a card,
Yeah.
like an encouragement card. So I went that next morning, went to Walmart and purchased a card, and I gave it to her attorney to give it to her.
Yeah.
And by the end of the day, she came over to me and she thanked me for the card. And,
See, that
it's
says a
great.
lot about her
Yeah.
and you.
I'm a
So
nurturer. I'm like a mom.
yeah, you do have a very sweet disposition. So now here's what I want to get into a little bit too, because the hashtag is in the title. Tasha K. So now, wait, let me do something real quick. Allegedly, fair rights use is in full effect. All of that. Y'all know what time it is. So, according to the source, in case you missed it, blogger Tasha K responds after losing defamation lawsuit to Cardi B. Now, I watched that video with her, and her dissertation on the machine. But there was at some point somewhere between that and today, she made a comment about allegedly made a comment about everything that y'all hearing about the trial is not true. Wait till the transcripts come out. Just briefly, I just want you to answer this question. Was that the truth? Was she telling the truth when she said that the transcripts will prove that what we're hearing are lies?
Well, let me tell you one thing, Mel. I'm waiting for those transcripts because I'm going to be first one on the list to get those transcripts.
Right.
But as far as her, I take it personal because I was covering that trial. It was only 4 of us in the courtroom. And for her to call us liars, that's why I want the transcript, and I'm going to get the transcript because I'm not going to lay down and just like allow her to call me a liar. Don't call me a liar.
I know that's right. And I don't blame you for that. And it also says YouTube blogger Tasha K is speaking out after losing in court to Cardi B. She's saying that it's saying here that Tasha posted a video on her YouTube channel where she called the ruling extremely prejudicial and blasted the machine for bullying her. Just from your bird's eye view in the court, did she feel like did it look like she was being bullied in the courtroom?
No, she was doing the bullying. How can a bully call itself being bullied and they're the one? I mean, her tapes,
Right.
her video, all that told what she was doing to Cardi B.
See.
Okay. And I didn't come in as a biased person because Cardi B music is not music of mine because I'm in the older group, Right. So now my daughter now loves Cardi B music and things like that.
Well, even if you were a fan, you could still be unbiased because you know what your job is and what you're there to do. So I feel you on that. But
and then the interaction I had with them. I mean, I interacted with Tasha K as well as Cardi B. Tasha K at the beginning was very friendly with me until she realized that, that I did a live and I was telling what was happening in the court, and she didn't like that. So the next day she did not, she didn't say anything to me. She didn't speak to me or nothing. So
wow. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, I don't want to stay on Tasha K too long because that's been there and done that. But this is a perfect segue into this federal investigation underway after former prisons officer suspected of leaking R. Kelly information to YouTuber Tasha K. Do you have any side dishes on that? What do you know about that? Anything?
Oh, I know a lot. I know a lot. Where would you like me to start?
Well, what time? You just tell me. What time is it, girl? What is going on with that? Are there any new developments? The last I heard was that, and I just found this out like pretty much everybody else. The last I knew was that, she's being investigated, and the person who was really working in the state of Minnesota and Wisconsin was accessing the records, and she's since retired. So what has happened now? Are we closer to a hearing for this person, or has she turned state's evidence, or what time is it, girl? What's up?
What's happening, if you notice, they did not put her name out. So whenever they don't put a person's name out, that's usually the person turning state evidence. because if they were against it, they would hurry up and put the name out. That's one of the key things to that. Now, as far as Tasha K, because since she does not tell the truth, now we know from court.
Right.
She made a comment on her live that her attorney told her there's nothing going on. Well, we know she lies about having an attorney. She might have one now since the Cardi B case, but as far as an attorney telling her not to worry, I think she needs to find out for a fact if she needs not to worry.
Okay. Okay. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. And it's good to know that we can rely on you for some updates as we as this thing goes along. Okay, so now to the main course. Y'all be sure to hit the like button, share, subscribe. Again, our guest today is the infamous Sylvia, celebrity blogger, coming with the whole tea. All right, so one main question I had for you was about this Michael Avenatti, because I know that he when this R. Kelly thing first started going on, he played an integral part, which this was before he crashed and burned. And I used to like this guy right here. I thought he was for someone I thought he was very attractive. But he crashed and burned, and come to find out, it appears as though allegedly he has no morals or ethics. But what was his role in this thing? Because the headline is saying that he said he had screenshots from an alleged R. Kelly sex tape. Says it leaves no question he's guilty. Now that was done in New York, and then R. Kelly was found guilty in New York. So what's the Michael Avenatti connection here?
Okay, as you know, Michael Avenatti has been found guilty on not one but two cases so far, and I think there's one more that he's waiting for trial on that. Now, as you know, he has been found guilty of lying, defrauding, manipulating, all of the above.
Is that Tasha's attorney? I'm joking.
No, that was one of the accusers of Mr. Kelly's attorney, and he had like 6 clients, from my understanding, during Mr. Kelly's the original case coming to fruition.
Right.
Case, okay. We now know that there was some secret dealings with Avenatti with Kim Fox. Those dealing will happen at O'Hare Airport. In fact, there was text messages of him producing the tape. Now, here's the key with this tape thing here. Supposedly, it's supposed to be child pornography, right? But he took it over to CNN, right?
Okay.
And when the defense asked for the evidence, of the tape, the government made a big deal saying that they had to secure it, meaning they had to have some sort of protection on it because it's supposedly child pornography. So why is it that Mr. Avenatti could take it to CNN with no protection, and then when the defense want the actual tape, they can't get it because they have to protect it? To this day, right now, they still have not received the tape. They gave him a blank disc, and I have been to all the hearings in Chicago, of course, the trial in New York, and they're still waiting for it.
Okay. So, and since wasn't Michael Avenatti just recently released?
He's convicted. He's in jail now.
Okay.
He was released. They let him out during the COVID. He gave an excuse, so they let him out. Then he had a trial, the most recent trial. He was found guilty, and then they ordered him to go back. Now he's in jail right now.
Okay. So that brings us over to this point here, and that is R. Kelly was found guilty of all charges in sex trafficking and racketeering trial. What's up with that? You were in that. You went to the courtroom. Is that right?
Oh, I was there every day. I was there for the whole 6 weeks. In fact, only 1 week I was not there, but I was there for pre-trial, all the pre-trial motions and all that. I was there. I've been there, traveling back and forth.
Was that a just verdict?
absolutely not. Here's the reason why there was a just verdict. Okay. Witnesses were caught lying on the stand, and even the judge made some reference of them being impeached, which did not happen, right? Then the other thing, there was allowance of certain things, evidence where the person who supposedly was supposed to be speaking about the evidence, they were allowed not to have to come in because she supposedly got sick the day she's supposed to testify. So she said she got anxiety and she couldn't be there, but they allowed the tape to play. Now, as far as the tapes, I'm going to tell you guys, there was no underage individual on the tape. The tapes were individuals having, like, I would say, let me say my own word, orgy.
Oh,
An orgy. And Mr. Kelly was not even in the tape.
Oh, wow.
Now you saw the guy nephew and then the other women. There was about six people on the tape.
Yeah,
okay?
right.
Then they allowed a recording of Mr. Kelly. The young lady supposedly stole a Rolex watch, and he was going in on her, going off. And you know how it is. If somebody steals something from you, I'm just telling you about me personally. Somebody steals something, I'm about to kill you. I'm going to go off. I'm going to cuss you out and everything. So this is what happened. They played the audio. The audio sounds terrible, but you got to understand, you have to put the whole picture of what really happened, okay? He was trying to help her because the girl had a drug problem, right? Which they didn't talk about that. And so he was trying to say, I have a brother who has been affected by a drug, and this you can't do. I mean, all this conversation about, this hurts my family for you to do this for me. People have died for this type of stuff. And, that was kind of his conversation. He cussed her out. Yes, he did. Yes, he did cuss her out. But they made it into something different. The government know how to play wordplay with the jury.
Okay. So, because word on them YouTube streets, infamous Sylvia, is that they said, well, Sylvie is she's advocating for R. Kelly, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's one of the things. Like, oh, I really want to know why, where she. But after you sent that steak over, I see what time it is. I see where you're going with it.
Let me tell you a little bit too about myself, Mel.
Absolutely.
In the beginning, I was just like everybody else.
Right.
Had heard stories, and okay, it is not until something happened in my life then I realized that, hey, people can lie on you and people can believe, right? And so it happened in a case where we adopted a young lady who, when I got married, she didn't like me being married, so she made up these stories. But the great thing about what happened to us, it didn't go as far as what Mr. Kelly gone through. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So at that point, I had this empathy. I empathized with him. And then I ended up meeting him, looking at this man in his face, one-on-one conversation with him, looking in his eyes. I was like, this is not the man that these people saying that he is. Okay. Not only once, I've been around him like about 7 or 8 times. Yeah. Okay. I had a 19-year-old. Well, she's 23 now. She was 19 when I was around. She said, Ma, he didn't give me no kind of vibe like that. So it's like a rumor is out about you, and people keep spreading the rumor, and then all of a sudden everybody start believing that one rumor.
True. Well, like I said, you seem to be I saw you on King Payne's show, and that was immediately after the verdict came in, and so you didn't appear to me to be someone who was out with a vengeance. Ooh, yeah, so you seemed very unbiased, and so, but like I said, you sent the steak over, and I see where you're coming from. So this is what I want to get to. So now, Kels has a new lawyer.
Yes.
And I know with this attorney, Jennifer Bongine or whatever, I know that there was one of the judges in a case, and I don't know if it was the Kels case in New York, But the judge got caught on a hot mic talking about her voice. And so I think she filed a complaint or something of that nature, but the judge was heard on a Zoom, it was a Zoom hearing, and he was overheard saying, "Oh my God, can you imagine waking up to that in the morning and going to bed to that at night?" Um, Allegedly.
Yeah, it was in
And
Chicago. It was in
okay.
Chicago.
Yeah. So that right there, I was like, "Oh man," and she didn't take that sitting down. But what I was able to find as it relates to, and I'm gonna make the screen bigger for me. Um, the new lawyer for convicted R&B singer R. Kelly asked a federal judge in Brooklyn on Thursday to overturn the verdict against him or give him a new trial in a set of expected challenges to his racketeering conviction last year. Now, Kelly is represented by Jennifer Bongine, the attorney who helped actor Bill Cosby in a successful bid last year to have his sexual assault conviction overturned. She began her career legally in Chicago. She's argued that federal prosecutors in New York, invigorated by an influential social movement determined to punish centuries of male misbehavior through symbolic prosecutions, that this prosecution or these prosecutors stretched the boundaries of federal law and that it was not designed to punish sexual misconduct like that alleged against Kelly. She is not playing.
No, she's not.
She is not playing. She came to get in and put some work in. Y'all gonna get that work from her.
Did you see your steak?
I
Did
seen
you
the
see-
steak. We gonna get to it. I'm just, you put the bread on the table first,
Okay.
the water.
Make sure you have your condiments for your steak.
Get you, yeah. You can have some, have your little A1 if you want. Um, but now, this is something that I found. This is something that I found really interesting, and that is that one of the reasons they're saying that that Kel's attorneys really were incompetent. They're saying that uh, one of his former lawyers, when he did his opening statement, Kel's former lawyer asked the jury, he said, "Find my client guilty." Ooh, I mean, not guilty.
And you know who that was, right? That was Nicole Blank Becker. And that's the same one with the Curcio issue where she had conflict of interest.
Okay, yeah. And I do want to ask you that because that is one of the things in the charges. Well, let's just get right into it. So here's the argument. So right now, she has the attorney Jean Bean or Bongine did file a motion to acquit.
Mhm.
And her chief argument is that defendant was denied effective assistance of counsel where his trial attorneys failed to conduct a meaningful voir dire of potential jurors and challenge unqualified jurors,
Yeah.
some of whom had watched the inflammatory docuseries Surviving R. Kelly or were familiar with prior accusations of sexual abuse of minors against the defendant. Counsel's objectivity, unreasonable performance during voir dire resulted in impaneling a jury that was neither fair nor impartial. That's pretty deep.
Yep, it is.
That's pretty deep.
It is.
So, with that being said, let's get into this part.
Mel, I wanted to also tell
Yes,
you
please. Yes.
during the trial last year, I was covering it every day, giving an update exactly what's happening.
Right.
And there was some things that I witnessed in the courtroom that it was so like biased. It was like, am I in a Twilight Zone? Am I in the show like To Kill a Mockingbird or something like that, where this black man, and I'm just being real, guys, I'm just being real. This black man is going for a lynching and nobody's helping him. He's
Right.
drowning.
Right.
And it was blatant. And then the news was giving something like totally different, just like what Tasha K gave up her own narrative of what happened in court. That's
Right.
what was happening. Seemed like everybody was paid off some kind of way.
Yeah. Well, okay, so like when I read that about the one of the attorneys saying, "I want you to find my client guilty."
Hmm.
Oops, I mean not guilty. He wasn't there. He couldn't he just wasn't there that day. I mean, his body was there. But his mind was on the other side of town.
It was a
Okay.
she. It's a she. It's a
Well,
she.
then her mind was on the other side of town.
Hmm.
Uh, because how do you make a mistake like that? My understanding is attorneys practice and practice and practice their opening statements well in advance of getting into the courtroom.
Hmm.
So that was pretty amazing. So in this, as part of the argument, okay, so Rule 24, yeah, I'm not even going to act like I know all these rules and stuff, but Rule 24 of Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure governs voir dire in criminal trials. The rule provides that if the court examines jurors, it must permit the attorney for the parties to do two things. One, ask further questions that the court considers proper, or two, submit further questions that the court may ask if it considers them proper. A trial judge who, under Rule 24, decides to examine prospective jurors himself must, at the very least, solicit questions from both parties' attorneys.
Hmm.
And naturally, the trial court's duty is to ensure that each and every juror is fair and impartial, is heightened, whereas here, pretrial publicity has greatly increased the odds that a potential juror has preconceived views of the accused guilt. Um, and it says, in the case of substantial pretrial publicity, jurors' subjective assessments of their own impartiality may not adequately screen for possibility of prejudice.
Yep.
Um,
And
now,
Mel, and I
yes,
did witness how that whole process and procedure goes with
all
the
right,
choosing of jurors,
all
right?
right,
In the Cardi B's case, because I
yeah,
watched it, and that itself takes a long time, right?
mhm,
Because there's each side gets to ask that juror of several amount of question, where in R. Kelly's case, that didn't happen.
mhm. Yeah, yeah, that's what we came to find out when
Hmm.
that steak dinner came through here. Let's look at this right here. So, in an effort to protect defendants' cherished guarantee of a fair and impartial jury trial, this court implemented a procedure whereby potential jurors were asked to complete questionnaires that probed whether they had prior knowledge, preconceived notions, or biases about the defendant, given the unprecedented pretrial publicity. Indeed, the questionnaire contained an entire section entitled Knowledge of the Case and People that asked jurors to reveal whether they had read, seen, or heard anything about the case, the alleged crimes, or people involved, and to describe in detail any information they had previously learned by the defendant. The questionnaire expressly asked prospective jurors whether they had watched or heard any interviews of Robert Kelly or any TV shows featuring him or any special documentaries about him. Aha.
Hmm.
But, okay, but, and this is where it got sloppy. And I'm going to tell you that I don't care what, if R. Kelly's guilty or not guilty, everybody deserves a fair trial.
The trial,
So
yeah.
you do not get to just come in and, decide. I mean, this is almost the equivalent of, what, of police killing
Mhm.
individuals, needlessly.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Because you're not the judge and the jury and the executioner, and so at this point I feel like, okay, based on this information, he at this point they didn't serve him well in what has happened thus far. So it says here that the court invited counsel for the government and the defense to review the questionnaires in advance of jury selection and determine whether they could agree that certain individuals could be excluded for cause. The parties conducted the process and identified a set of potential jurors for the voir dire purpose or process. Inexplicably, defendants' counsel Kells, failed to challenge several jurors who
Mhm.
ultimately sat on defendant's jury who were clearly unqualified to serve on account of their preconceived beliefs about defendant's guilt. These decisions cannot be justified by trial strategy where the record fails to reflect that trial counsel conducted sufficient inquiry to probe these jurors' biases. Indeed, trial counsel was mostly silent throughout voir dire. And that makes me think of, like, in some of these movies where the defendant's like, man, are you going to object to this? What you going to do? You know,
Yep.
although the court was responsible for questioning prospective jurors, it afforded the parties the opportunity to weigh in the questioning of prospective jurors who had made representations in their questionnaires that raised red flags.
And
These
yet,
questionnaires,
Mel, I want to interject something
yes,
before I
please.
forget. No. Now, also, you got to remember the judge was a prosecutor for what? Sex crimes.
Mm,
So
mm.
that judge should have recruited her, right? He said
Recused. Yeah.
recruit herself from the case and put
Yeah.
somebody else on there because
See.
she's already biased because
Mm,
of where she comes from.
mm. Man, that's crazy. But so I'm going to get back to this part real quick because, and of course, that ain't the right screen. Y'all be sure to like, share, subscribe. Let me get back to this right screen here. Where was I at? Right here, I think it is. There we go. Because this is where the stakes started getting real good. I said, oh my goodness. So it says the questionnaires were highly effective tools for putting the parties on notice of jurors who might not be qualified to serve, but trial counsel made no effort to drill down, to get in there on troubling representations that demanded further inquiry to ensure that the juror could be fair and impartial, regardless of any general assurances that he or she provided to follow the court's instructions about being unbiased and what have you. Um, okay, so this attorney is starting off very well. This is one hell of an argument to get him acquitted on this or get a new trial. And how could this judge, I mean, to your knowledge, Sylvie, was any of this raised while the court, while the trial was going on? Did any of this get raised?
Yes, there was one juror that was on there had asked to get an autograph from Gloria Allred.
Mm-hmm.
And they asked why she wanted an autograph. She says because she admired the work she do in regard to the Me Too movement and things like that. So there was a lot of them that was for that Me Too movement.
See, and Allred and even her daughter. So now, back in the day, Gloria Allred I thought she had a lot of credibility, but then, her daughter, what's her name? Lisa Bloom, she showed herself, how she really is. And the apple don't fall from the tree is what I'll say. So I don't know. It's a crazy situation, but here is,
it gets deeper, Mel. It gets deeper.
here we go, y'all. Y'all need some more water. Is there anything else I can get you? How's your stomach? So, the attorney, Bolden Jean, goes on to, in her argument, to state that perhaps most troubling, most of defendants' jurors were aware of prior allegations of sexual abuse against them, and several seated jurors had actually seen a scathing one-sided docuseries entitled Surviving R. Kelly that portrayed defendant as a serial predator and included interviews with many of the government's witnesses. Now, albeit outside the adversarial process, the defendant's jury should not have included a single person who saw the documentary Surviving R. Kelly. It defies all logic that a juror could possibly remain indifferent and consider only the evidence heard from witnesses on the stand after watching the docuseries. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. Did you see the docuseries?
I did not watch the docuseries. I was one of those people that haven't watched it, but I've seen clipping from other people. But I've never sat down. I just can't because of what I know and what I've seen and what I've heard and what I've researched myself. I just that I'm like Dr. Phil's full of lies. Dr. Phil said he wouldn't even take that because there were lies.
Mm-hmm. Well,
And you gotta remember too, Mel, The
Mhm.
witnesses they had, you had disgruntled employees who felt this man owed them money. You had a doctor who did the test for the herpes. The test came back negative, but because he says that, hey, the based on his knowledge, not blood test, not culture test,
Mhm.
it's herpes. But he has not had any conclusive screening or anything saying that he actually had herpes. His first culture test came back negative.
So now wait a minute, catch me up. So so what are they saying? Kel's got some
That's
AIDS?
what they're saying. That's what they're saying. But here's the thing: you got a doctor who feels that Mr. Kelly owes him some money. He didn't pay him. How he paid him was going to free concert and things like that. So it's a lot. It's a lot behind the scenes. It's all about money, guys.
Wow, that's a whole hell of a lot. All right, so y'all, here we go. Go on and sip some water, because here we get into the bone. All right. So the steak dinner further says, for example, juror number 3 provided the following information in the questionnaire. Question 29. The case for which you were summoned involved defendant Robert Sylvester Kelly, also known as R. Kelly, Kales, as we call him in the hood. Have you read, seen, or heard anything about that case, alleged crimes, or people involved? His answer, I watched the documentary, but I forgot the name of it. Question 30. Have you read, seen, or heard about Robert Kelly, also known as R. Kelly? Yes, entertainer. I heard that he has been sleeping with underage girls. Question 31. Have you overheard any interviews of Robert Kelly or any TV shows featuring him or any specials or docuseries about him? Yes. What were your general impressions? Answer. I saw a documentary about him and his legal troubles. I don't know the full story, so I have no feelings and remain impartial. Question 91. Do you know anything about the Me Too movement? Yes. It's a movement that seeks justice for rape victims between the ages of 20, or as you were, for rape victims 25 to 30 years after the fact. Trial counsel did not ask the court to question the juror further about his responses to these questions to determine whether the juror could truly serve as an impartial and unbiased juror in light of having seen the salacious and highly prejudicial docuseries. Not a single question was asked of the juror about his impressions of the documentary, nor did counsel ask the court to inquire about what information he learned about the defendant's prior legal issues or his reputation. Shout out to Lizzie Mack. I got your comment in a way, so I can't finish reading. I got your comment in, and shout out to Auntie Nisi too, because I seen you in the chat. Love you, Auntie Nisi. So that's enough. I mean, and you guys, the thing is that reason why I call this a steak dinner is because there's more. We would be here all night going through every single last question, y'all. That is crazy. So what do you know, Sylvia, about the process so far as far as the New York? Has the judge, have they ruled anything on this motion yet, or when can we expect it? What's tea with that?
What's going to happen? The prosecution side, which is the U.S. government, has until March 10th to rebut her motion. Then she has another opportunity to come back if they reject it, to rebut them by the 24th of March, and then the judge makes a decision.
Okay.
You know what I would like you to do?
Yes,
If
yes,
you don't
please.
mind, I would love for you to read the other one where Jane Doe. I need you to read that part, because that part around page 31, I think. 30.
Yeah.
This is when she's on testimony about her mother. I want others to hear what actually happened. This is something we need.
Well, now let me ask, because you know what, so I have like 2 different computers, and so that steak dinner, I don't have it down here in the studio.
Oh, okay.
But if you have it, you certainly can. We'd be happy to hear it, or if you want to give us your overview.
I can read it for you guys.
Please do.
I don't be as eloquent as you, but I will try.
You're just fine, girl. Why you playing?
A second, let me just get my copy here.
And again, thank you everybody for pulling up to the Mel Cruise. I appreciate y'all showing up. Be sure to hit the like button, share, subscribe if you haven't already. We got infamous Sylvia in the house. Our a celebrity. Hold on just a minute. I'm trying to get this music on here for us. Infamous Sylvia, the celebrity vlogger, celebrity trial vlogger. And you've been giving us some good tea here, girl. Oh my goodness.
I'm on page 35 if you want to follow. On April 20th, 2015, Jane Doe's mother. Now, Jane Doe is the star witness for the prosecution. The one who's, if you guys know anything about her, she's Azriel, the one that her father and mother was all over the news saying that they hadn't heard from their daughter and all this kind of stuff. That one. Okay, Jane Doe on April 20th, 2015, Jane's mother still posting as Jane. Okay, I got to give you a little background.
Yeah, go ahead.
When Mr. Kelly met Jane Doe, she went to the concert supposedly with her parents. And she was given his phone number and she gave it to her mother. Her mother is the one that was contacting Mr. Kelly and acting like she was the daughter. But let me read it. On April 11, 2015, Jane attended one of the defendant concert in Orlando, Florida. After the show, someone provided Jane with the defendant's phone number. Jane attempted to text the number on the phone and gave the paper to her mother. Although Jane Doe did not reach defendant, Jane's mother began texting the defendant, posing as her 17-year-old daughter. Jane eventually communicated directly with the defendant via FaceTime and told the defendant that she was 18, which is a legal age of consent, guys, right? On April 20th, 2015, Jane's mother, still posing as Jane, initiated a text message with the defendant and arranged for Jane to meet with the defendant at the hotel in Orlando. Government Exhibit 233 shows that Jane Doe and her mother knew from the start that the defendant was interested in Jane Doe sexually, believed that she was at legal consenting age. Before Jane first meeting with the defendant, Jane's mother texted Jane stating, "This man trying to screw, but I'm trying to make it business. He knows you're a singer, but he ain't playing that. He wants to fuck tonight." Despite that, Jane.
Okay, wait, hold up, Sylvia, because your mic went out, girl.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can right there, right now. Yeah,
I think it went down. Hold on. Can you hear me now?
yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay.
indeed.
What part did you hear up to?
You said you were talking about the 18. That 18. You said legal age, and then you went in and out. So just start back in there.
Okay. Jane's first meeting with defendant. Jane's mother texts Jane stating that this man's trying to screw, but I'm trying to make it business. He knows you're a singer, but he ain't playing that. He just wants to fuck tonight. Despite that, Jane and her mother were on notice that the defendant was interested in Jane sexually. Jane's mother encouraged Jane to meet defendant. She told Jane to keep defendant curiosity pegged and advised her that she was what to wear, effectively how to entice him. During her
Oh my goodness.
During her in-court testimony, Jane testified that she went to meet the defendant solely to audition for him, but her contemporaries text messages revealed that Jane was more interested in the defendant for a personal and romantic reason. Jane texted her mother, he's so fine." When Jane's mother told her to be ready to sing something, Jane said, suggesting that she did not actually want to audition for the defendant. Jane's mother encouraged Jane to tease defendant, but not to do anything sexual with him, since he would then lose interest in her. Believing that he was speaking to an 18-year-old Jane, defendant texted Jane's mother that he was staying on the tour bus, but was going to get a hotel room for their privacy. Jane's mother then shared the text message with Jane, texting her saying, "Yup, he says he's staying on the tour bus, but he wants to get a hotel room just for y'all so y'all can get some privacy from security and managers." Jane's mother gave Jane some final advice before she sent her daughter to meet the defendant, who believed that Jane was 18. Be prepared, this is what the mother said in the text. Be prepared to sing 3 songs, and said he will meet you and listen to your song. Please have your glasses off here to side. Mama knows best. Pretty hurts. And third, your choice, don't yell. Put on a show. Dance, grab his shimmy wiggles, sit on his lap, entice him. While singing, it's all about performance. This is your chance and opportunity. Don't blow it. Jane's mother even told Jane not to look grown. Emphasized added, "Take off the ugly ass lipstick. I told you he don't want you to be grown. I told you to keep your hair curly. That shit looks a mess. You need some jeans or some short. You trying to look grown. He wants you because you look young and innocent. That's what he wants. Not a girl trying to be grown. You're a damn fool." That's what the mom said.
Now, let me. Okay, I recall seeing a video years back when the parents showed up to where R. Kelly was at, and they were like, "Give us our daughter. Send our daughter out here. We want our daughter back." Wasn't that her parents?
Yeah, that was her parents.
And how old is Azriela or whatever? How old is Jane?
She's 23 now.
How old was she during this then?
17.
That is unbelievable. That she must not have been getting the money, or the family they didn't really want her. They just wanted, they wanted the money, and that's why they were out there. It wasn't that they wanted their daughter back so they could bring her back to a wholesome environment. They wanted her because they weren't getting the money that they sold her for, allegedly. Or so it seems.
But she lied. She's the one who contacted him. And I'm talking about the mother, contacted him and told him she was 18. And then Azriel herself, Jane Doe herself, turned around and said the same thing. Because even in the hotel room, when the police came knocking at the door, he asked her, "How old are you?" She says 18. He says, "Don't lie to me. How old are you?" She says 18. And so she showed the ID to the police officer. Police officer let her alone and went back about his business. And they continued with doing whatever they were going to do. So he was under the assumption that she was 18. She showed an ID to the police saying that she was 18.
And was that piece there presented in the first trial?
Yeah, it was presented in the trial, but here's the deal.
Yeah.
The government manipulated the jurors as thinking of something else, gave another story to what happened, saying that that she gave an ID to show the age. Now, if she gave a school ID, the school ID doesn't show age.
Right.
It shows just your name and things like that. But if she showed a driver's license, the year of her birth is the same year of that. And I don't know if the police officers just happened to not look at the month instead of just looking at the year. I don't know what happened. But the point is, the police were there. There was no wrongdoing at the time because they said she was of age. And then they called the parent. The parent said that she was 18.
And so now when it gets down to the court thing, now they're like, because I think I saw an interview where the parents were trying to act like, yeah, see, we finally on our way to get some justice or something of that nature.
But let me tell you something also, y'all.
Yeah.
Now, in September, she turns around and supposedly tell him that she's 18. He gets mad and send her behind home. when he found out she lied.
Mm.
What the parents did is sign like a permission slip,
Yeah.
got it notarized, and sent her right back to Mr. Kelly. Now, in the state of Illinois, 17 is a legal age of consent, but in the state of Florida and California, is 18.
Mm. And where do they hail from to begin with? Where does Jane hail from? Where's she from?
Florida.
Oh, okay. It's out of control. Miss Gardner said it's out of order. You ain't lying, girl. You ain't never lied when you said that. Zane said sick. Those parents need to be charged too. Sold those babies. It's exactly what it's looking like. That's what it's looking like. Okay, so now what's going on, Sylvia, with the Chicago situation?
Okay, Chicago, you got a whole bunch of players in the Chicago thing. Okay, you got Tasha K with the lying stuff that she did. Because remember, she got the information from that guard. Now, here's what happened. I'm gonna just tell y'all what happened. Okay.
Is there anything else I can get you? Oh yeah, Sylvia.
Now, remember, if you guys could recall, you had Azriel and Joycelyn. They were riding for Robert Sylvester Kelly. Remember, they were riding for him, right?
Right.
Now, Azriel went off to Vegas. And in Vegas, there was a guy who was working with the dad who had her to watch all this story with the surviving R. Kelly and a bunch of tape to persuade her. Now, okay, remember, you got two women who's trying to get position of being number one, right? Now, the Azriel thinking she's number one because Mr. Kelly's telling her, yeah, you're the one, number one. Now you have this other dude over here in Vegas saying, oh, no, he's lying to you. Here's all the stuff that he did. Then you get Tasha K producing the emails of Mr. Kelly talking to the other one saying that you know, basically you want number one too. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So Azriel gets scorned. She gets upset. So now she flips and go along with what the parents were originally said.
Shut your mouth up, girl. So there was a video out a couple years back where both of them were at the condo in Trump Tower in Trump Flower. And they were going at it. I mean, they was brawling.
They was fighting.
Was that behind that email?
Behind the guy going over there telling him that, you know, she was number one, and then she flipped on him, and then she's there. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
But you ain't hear that from me.
Okay. Okay, Sylvia. Okay, baby. You know, so but now isn't Azriel trying to like reconstruct her career or start a career actually and start singing now? Because I've seen her drop a couple videos, you know.
But if you notice, she hasn't done any music. She has not done it, even though she keep playing, you know, keep waiting. You see these preludes and all this interim. She really doesn't want to sing, guys. She want to be rich, but she doesn't want to sing.
See.
So and then in court, they showed how the parents used to abuse her.
Really?
Yeah,
girl, what
they want her same. They're like, you know how some parents want to live their dream through the child. That's what happened.
Right. Like, well, what's one thing that they did? What's one thing that the parents did? You said they used to abuse her. Well, like, what's like what they?
Well,
do?
they try to take it off. They try to do it behind the scene because the judge said they didn't want to bring that up because there's some things that was going on, and she needs some therapy. The child needs some therapy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to judge her, you know, because clearly the parents were behind this whole thing, and
she fell in love. She fell in love with Mr. Kelly.
Yeah,
and now they ruined it for her.
And I'm going to tell you, I saw like the first time when R. Kelly was in this jam. I did see that first video. I had to make sure I ran up on the bootleg, man. I said,
I ain't watching.
Let me buy one of these DVDs because I want to see what y'all talking about. And R. Kelly is working with some things.
Look, I saw it in the the half of the baby. I saw it on half of the baby.
Allegedly.
That video.
Yeah. I mean,
forgive me. I'm sorry, y'all. Sorry.
I mean, well,
Mel is making me go there. Sorry, y'all.
Sorry. I'm not trying to go there, but I'm just saying I've seen it, so I could see why. I could see why some of these girls might get hypnotized. I'm just gonna keep the language clean. So um I just think it's sad. It's sad that this is his legacy in a sense, only because this is not his first time in this situation like this. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And do you think, Sylvia, that once this is over, if he's free, if he gets off on this, well, two questions. Do you think R. Kelly, when this is all said and done, do you think he will get off on this?
Absolutely.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Do
absolutely.
you think he'll be a free man out of Illinois and the New York?
Absolutely.
And doesn't he have something? Weren't there some accusers in Minnesota too?
One young lady. All of it's overlapping. Most of these people are the same people. Like Geronda, she's in both state, federal in Illinois, as well as Chicago, New York. Okay. And the judge the attorney addressed her too. She was one of them that lied about her age. And in fact, she was never in a relationship with Mr. Kelly.
Well, let me jump in here in this.
Bubba.
Okay, so Shoddy. Okay, come on, people. We can't put all the blame on the girls and the parents. R. Kelly needs to be held accountable for his actions as well. You're absolutely right, Shoddy. You're absolutely right. And I agree with that completely. I mean, my thing is because here, this is how I look at it. I saw that tape. I saw the DVD, and I'm
But here's
shocked.
the thing. Wait a minute, y'all. Mel, to be fair, that case was found not guilty. We can't talk about that. It's over.
Right.
If you keep bringing that up, that's double jeopardy. He was found innocent, period. That's the law, guys. Let's stick to it. That's the law.
It's true. You're right. You're absolutely right. The only thing I'm saying is that you would think that anyone, any person, R. Kelly or anybody, John Q. Public, once you get out of something that harrowing, because I don't know how he got out of it, but you would think that after surviving something like that you would never, ever, ever, ever be caught up in a situation like that. And maybe that's why he had Jane Azariella, or however you pronounce her name. Maybe that's why he asked her, he was really trying to do an ID check or something.
He did every single body, even in his concert. He asked for 18 and over.
Right.
Every single person had ID when they came into his home. They photocopied those IDs. These people had fake ID. So if the police, like for example, Geronda, if you can get into a courtroom with that same ID, what makes you think he's going to be expert of that ID when you have professionals who don't know if that's a real ID or not?
True.
Now, come on, y'all guys. And I understand Shorty say, Kelly, but the point is, why lie? Why don't you just say you're 17?
Right.
Why do you have to say you're 18 and give fake ID? Why?
Yeah.
If
and then go to court behind it and claim to be a victim. And I get that. And that is evidence. So that should exactly be brought up in as evidence. Unique Thought says, Shawty, can you be specific? Because the government couldn't even find anything to hold him accountable for. That's the reason he will be set free. That's unless you know something we don't.
But Mel, the other thing too, I want to bring up the Aaliyah thing. Let me explain something with that.
Please do.
Now, everybody's going, oh, but he married Aaliyah. Now, you guys know for a fact that the parents were there, right? If not one time there was any charges placed against Mr. Kelly from the parents saying, okay, you married my child, pressing charges. Why is it that all of a sudden America, the people here have all this moral compass, but the parents didn't do anything about it, didn't say anything.
And and you make a very good point on that, Sylvie. And the reason why I agree with you is because I've also read where Aaliyah's mom, and R.I.P. Aaliyah, she was definitely one of a kind. But Aaliyah's mom says, I was with her if it wasn't me, it was her dad. We were with her every step of the way. So, that leaves the question. All right. So if you were there all the time, then what's the deal with the marriage? And if you were there all the time, what's the deal with the sexual assault? Because it can't be both. So which one is it?
And also Aaliyah, in all those interviews she has had herself, she said. I mean, come on, y'all. And you probably guys probably say, "Oh, she just for." No, I'm for facts and truth. You guys are running from rumors. I went and dug and did the research. I didn't go by rumors.
Right. Now we believe you. You're definitely the in-house authority on this, Sylvia. That's why you sitting on this platform with me today, because we ain't trying to have rumors. We want it straight from somebody who sat there in the courtroom and heard firsthand what time it is regarding this. Because and like I said, based on the information that you sent over, he hasn't gotten a fair trial. His attorneys really did not work on his behalf.
And you have so many people. You got Barry Hankerson who vowed that he was going to come after him. It's all about money. And I can show you guys proof. There was accounts open in this man's name and he don't know anything about it. I mean, when I tell you guys, I've done the research. I'm not sitting here just running my mouth. I've done the research.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people going by rumors in the windows of stuff they never went and validated. Why did Demetrius Smith is the one who took that girl Tia to the Susan Logan? Why everybody went to the same attorney? You guys got to use your brains.
Now, who is Susan Logan?
Susan Logan is the one that took all the case of the sexual assault case or whatever, right? Now, exactly. Okay. I mean, I got so much. I don't know where to start. I'm sorry.
No.
The same, and listen, they subpoenaed her. Do you know she did not show up to court?
Hush your mouth.
She did not show up to court. First she had a sick mother, then she went out of town. She did not show up to court.
Unique Thoughts is saying, everyone keeps saying he needs to be held accountable. Can anyone explain for what? What do y'all know that we don't know? Because producing underage girls, the government has failed. Ooh.
And then the video. Remember they said there was thousands of videos. Where's the videos at?
That's at Michael Avenatti stuff, because he's the one that's saying, yeah, we got information. We got information.
And Avenatti, you know his background now. He was in the porn industry. You know how you could do deep fake now. Come on. 20 years later, a new tape comes out. Come on now, stop.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely a lot. So now I did read something I thought was kind of funny. And you tell me if this is true. You tell me if this is true or not. And like I said, copyright, use of copyright that's why I put this thing on the recording at the beginning of the show. Because anyway, everything's alleged, and dab nabbit, it's alleged. So Sylvia, I read today that evidently or allegedly Tasha K had said on one of her shows when she was talking about R. Kelly that he sent an email and that it proves that he can't read or write, because one of the emails, he tried to send it to one of the girls, and instead of spelling, it started off saying hi, and instead of it being spelled H-I, it was spelled H-A-I. Now,
let me tell you, Mel. I used to be on Mr. Kelly's email list, and I do have his emails and letters that he has written to me.
Right.
He does spell words as he hears it.
Yeah. Okay.
And if I was going to see, I'll send you a copy of it later on.
Okay. Well, and that, listen, we've heard, because I watched a couple episodes of that docuseries, and then I just couldn't take the wife with all them damn tears. I just couldn't do it. I said, you know what, I'm done, because it seemed like they were forced, and you can't have it both ways. I love him, and but he hurt me, and and you were there. The wife was there. What's her name?
Andrea.
Yeah, she was there. You were there allegedly when all this was going down. And and you wait until a group of people, because I remember in Chicago when it first got started with that mute R. Kelly. I mean, they shut down the what is it? The Chicago, I can't remember the theater downtown there. center downtown, but because he was supposed to be doing a concert there, and they put that mute R. Kelly up, girl. Shoot, no, he ended up not being able to do the concert. But
Do you know,
wait.
Mel, do you know them doing that violated his constitutional right of being able to make money?
Mm,
He wasn't even convicted or anything like that, but y'all stopped him from making money.
right, right.
How fair
Well,
is that? They didn't do that to Weinstein. They didn't do that to Epstein. None of it.
ooh. You know what, Sylvia? You know what? See, and that's the thing. It's easy for us to hear something and not like it and just go ahead and convict them, just like everybody else is trying to do. So
Yep.
you know what? I'm thankful to you that you are maintaining an unbiased perspective on things, because the truth is, if you weren't giving us this information, we wouldn't even know the specific. I wouldn't know. I'll speak for myself. I wouldn't have known that the jurors were seated, and really they were unqualified, just as like Jennifer Bongine is arguing in the motion to acquit. You know, you saw all the stuff, and there's no way you watch that documentary and you're gonna say, oh yeah, I can remain unbiased. Yeah, I know he did that. But I can remain unbiased. So big ups to you for remaining unbiased and giving us, you know, giving us these updates from an unbiased point of view. I'm glad
Yeah.
for that.
And I'm going to give facts. I'm not going to give, because I have, like I tell everyone, I don't have a dog in this race at all.
Right.
But I want fairness. I want truth. And that's the way it should be for everyone, not just some people, for all people.
Right.
And then my thing is, if you had a case that was so solid and strong, why did you have to use all these manipulating factors in this?
Right. And that's the truth. And if they get away with this on this, you know, the fact that they'll even attempt this on a well-known, you know, globally known entertainer, what's to say they ain't gonna do it just for the regular John Doe?
Yeah.
Who
But
can't
remember,
afford
they
it?
tainted his name. He never regained his name. So
Mhm.
it's like a we didn't get you this way kind of OJ thing. We're gonna get you someplace else.
Right.
And then everybody keeps saying, oh, why did he continue doing it? He tried to protect himself. He
Mhm.
put people in place to protect him,
Right.
you know, to make
Yeah.
sure. Okay, now, for everybody says, okay, well, he should try to get women that older. There are some people who prefer people that looks young,
Right.
that keep you vital. You know, there's some,
Right.
that's just like saying those 90-year-old men marrying 30, 40-year-old women. I mean, that's just their preference. And they should not be penalized for their preference. As long as it's illegal, then it's okay. Now,
Right.
if you're saying to me, I'm 18 years old, and I ask you, and you show me ID over how much, what? I'm supposed to go back to when you were born, find out everybody in your family and
Yeah.
see who's
All
not
on
lying to me?
ancestry.com.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's facts.
Now, let's make sense, guys. Let's
That's
make
facts.
sense.
And he's definitely, I mean, as a performer and a musician and you know, he's definitely talented. He's genius with it. You know, and I used to love me some R. Kelly. It's just that these allegations from the first one that you said we can't hold against him. You know, but that kind of turned me off on him. I'm like, dang, R. Kelly, are you serious right now? Especially after I said, you serving all that up to what? So, you know, I just kind of said, let me get on up off of him, because I just can't.
Well, I
You know,
just want him to have a fair,
he
impartial
deserves that.
trial. That's all I want. But see, the thing is, it's okay for us to, when someone black, for them to find us guilty in the wrong way, but we're okay. We're gonna sit back and say, well, it's okay. No, it's not
Right.
okay.
Right.
It's not, because
This
it
is
could
true.
still happen to your family members. When it happens to your family, then you're gonna say something different.
Yeah. And you're gonna wish you had Jennifer Bongine.
Yeah, I mean, it's
And
not fair.
those aren't even subtle discrepancies in the, you know, in the argument. I mean, that's major. That's major. And the mere fact that his attorneys, all this is going on, and his attorneys didn't even get up and say, wait, hold up, objection, Your Honor. I mean, they didn't do any of that.
But see,
And
that's
that's
the thing. You got to try to figure out who's the big machine that lady's talking about, Tasha K. Who's the big machine in this?
Right. Exactly. Well, I don't know. I'm going to tell you what. Now, Sylvia, you are actually encouraging people to write R. Kelly. Is that correct?
Yes, please write him. 'Cause
Okay.
and you guys, let me tell y'all something. I'm out here trying to push the truth out. I'm not here trying. I have no agenda. I have like no dog in this race. All I can do is just tell you what I personally examined, researched,
Right.
viewed there. I was there. I'm not telling you something fluff from
Right.
somebody else what they did. I was there. I
Right.
witnessed. I even looked in the man's face. That's where I'm not into that extra other stuff. I'm not here.
Yeah.
Let me
Right.
tell you, once this is over with and he gets justice, the justice that he deserves, I'm done.
So you see, I got the alert blurb beeping. Shout out to Sean
Hey,
Davy
Sean.
Way. Oh, and I do want to let me just throw this out here. Now, Sylvia, I'm going to let you know the Sean Davy Way. He said, Mel, because we had a members only meeting, and that's what we love us some Sean Davy Way. We had a members only meeting, and he was giving us counsel and guidance and advice, and it was ask Sean anything type of format. And I said, Sean, what do you think I should do? And he said, well, Mel, I think one thing you should do is reach out to Sylvia and get an interview with her, because he said, I think you guys would make a good collab, et cetera, this and that. And I was like, okay. And Sylvia, I am enjoying you being on the show today. You hear me?
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. And thank you, Sean, for the recommendation, and everything positive that you do. Just shout out to the Sean Davy Way show. We love some of him. And let me ask you this question, Sylvia. Did King Payne DM you?
I sent him this transcript, but I hadn't talked to him lately.
Okay. Because I reached out to him too. I said, hey, I sent Sylvia a friend request on IG, and can you put a bug in her ear to reach out to me? And he gave me the thumbs up. So
Yeah, he did. He did that. You talking about recently? No, it was but back when we were doing the Cardi B. He had told me then.
all right, that'll work. That'll work. So shout out to the official King Payne as well. So what's next? What can we look for on the Chicago situation? What's coming up on that?
Well, Chicago is having another hearing. He's having a hearing on the 15th, which I get on the calls and I listen to the calls, and I will give you guys the information for you guys to sit and listen to the calls as well. So they're gonna talk, because Bonjean is also going to be the attorney on appearance for the Chicago case as well. All the attorneys that was on his case are all off. She's the one on there, her and her team. She's taking over. And after that, they're going to do another hearing on the 25th of May. And then trial starts August 1st. Hopefully, wouldn't even have to be a trial, because a lot of stuff is overlapping. You remember I was telling you the individuals are overlapping, as well as they're trying to bring in the old 2008 case involved in it, where the videotape, which would become double jeopardy, So we will see what she puts, because there's some motion she's going to submit in there.
Right. So, and then do we know why? Because a part of the steak dinner that you sent over was saying that the attorneys, by the time this thing went to court in New York, that they fell apart. And then here we have the Chicago. And so now all of his attorneys got off of there. Do we know why that happened?
It's the same attorney. It's the same attorney, Stephen Greenberg. What happened is Robert hired Stephen Greenberg for something else. I told you I did my research. He hired him because he was trying to get his master's. If you notice, anytime someone of color wanting to do something for whole society, get money, like, with the Michael Jackson, you remember Bill Cosby, Prince, anytime they trying to get something falls out and they start putting all these accusations, so they taint the name and cause them not to get anything. So Mr. Kelly was going after his master's, because he's entitled to his master's. After 25 years, you can get your master's.
Okay.
And this is when all of this started, when he started going for his master's. And then Steve was not equipped to taking on this type of cases. So because he was working with Mr. Kelly at the time, trying to get his master's money and things like that, he just like automatically was gravitated to these other cases, the state, the federal, and the New York federal case. That's how he ended up being involved. But really, he was not qualified.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
But
And then remember, they bankrupt him where he did financially. He couldn't hire the real attorneys that he could. So he did the best that he could with what he had financially.
okay, I want to ask you this one last question. So when this stuff first started going down, there was a woman who did donate or something, sent money, I think it was $100,000.
No, it was she lent him that money. He ended up paying her back that money and some interest.
But
And
didn't
then
she made a big issue about it too? Like, yeah, he better give me my money back. Like she gave him the money. Okay, tell me. Yeah,
what she was trying to do is go get the like when you have a bond, she already got her money back from Mr. Kelly already, right? Now she was trying to get the bond money as well as also the money he had given her. Yeah.
Oh, see, no good deed goes unpunished. Now you sat up there and gave the man the money, and I'm sure he didn't ask you for it.
Yeah, he gave her 10% of what she already. I mean, she made a killing off that money because as soon as he got out for the child support thing, she got her money back. And she did it. And I wanted to bring up also Tasha K. Tasha K. Recently, if you guys remember, a couple of months ago, she says that R. Kelly might be innocent. R. Kelly might be innocent, right? She went and interviewed a whole bunch of people with the facts of what information they had for his innocence, right? She never put it out. She put it on her Patreon, and she didn't do the damage that, she didn't undo the damage that she already did. Because remember, she lived on Cardi B, R. Kelly, and Wendy Williams. Those were her cases, her go-to.
Her bread and butter.
Her channel to just blow up.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Or me and you will be sitting in the courtroom somewhere, and it ain't gonna be.
But see, the thing is, it was shown in court. See, I can give you the information because that was shown as document in court. I can go pull it up too. But so because it was shown in court, this is what she said. This is what was presented with the exhibits. So
right. So Carolyn Marie, shout out to Carolyn Marie. Like Snoop Dogg brought Death Row, now they're on him. Are you gonna be covering Snoop Dogg?
Yes, I'm gonna be covering all. Well, Snoop Dogg is not the ones that's going on right now is Trey Songz. You got Trey Songz, you have Chris Brown. But remember, Trey Songz and Chris Brown, the women are being represented by the same attorney that Tasha K just interviewed.
Well, look here, infamous Sylvia, celebrity trial vlogger. I know you have your own YouTube channel, but I want you back here.
Oh, I'll be back.
I want you back here, sweetheart, because you was breaking it down and you're giving it to us how we like it. Okay?
I'll be back. I definitely will, because I need the word out. I need the truth out. And I'm tired because, the national news, major news had an objective, a mission. That mission is to every time to bring down a black man, a black woman, or whoever it is trying to climb the ladder of success and become big. And they try to bring it and kind of remind you where you are.
Right.
I don't care how much money you make.
Right.
We own you, type of thing.
That's what I said. Yeah. I mean, it's Black History Month, and we're getting a lot of Black history going on because this is a case that this will never go away. It's, once it's all said and done, and I would hope that. Listen, I'll tell you, I'll just be honest. I hope it comes out that R. Kelly, everything that he did, I hope it's because he was manipulated and not because he was a predator. That's what I hope is the case. And I hope when it's all said and done, that that's what the proof shows, that he was manipulated, like you gave the information about, the mom encouraging Azriel to do, to lie and try to look as much of an adolescent as possible just to keep him attractive or, to be attractive in his eyes, and lying about your ID and this, that, and 2/3. I hope it's all because he was manipulated, because he is a genius when it comes to music.
And he's
And
very shy, y'all. He's a
yeah,
very shy man. He's
yeah,
very shy. I'm telling you, he's not the person that you got to meet him in person.
yeah.
He's
I mean,
not. He doesn't approach you that way, huh?
yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, they've ruined, you know, they've ruined his career. I'll say they at this point, just because based on what, his current attorney is alleging, they didn't try to even serve him properly as his legal counsel, and nobody deserves that, and then if you're sitting here and you got all this money and you're paying these people, and here this man could have still been up here making money and giving us some music that we like, but the only reason why that's not happening is because you guys are on a vendetta. The parents of Azriel should have gone ahead and got 2, 3, 4, 5 jobs if y'all wanted the money that bad. Why would y'all take R. Kelly from us like this, behind some, charges like this, especially if they're not true?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
I
and it
don't know if
does.
you got a chance to see the docu-series called Precedent.
Mm-mm.
There's one out there where she's sitting next to her father, and he's telling her that, basically she said, you knew exactly where I was at. Rob would tell me to call my parents, and he would ask me, is this their number? And I would tell him, yeah. And I was going to wait until you guys miss me, and I just waited. But they knew where she was at for the whole time. They the one who initiated this.
This is wrong. Now, see, that's wrong. And that's wrong. Now, what's wrong? Like somebody said in the comments earlier, the parents need to be in court.
I agree. I agree with you. Whoever said that, I agree with you 1,000%. I agree with you.
See, y'all just manufacturing stuff. Well, I mean, we're going to see, and clearly, Infamous Sylvia is on the case. So I thank you so much for showing up and being here today, girl. Thank you for accepting the invitation to come and sit with me and share these details with me. I appreciate it. You guys be sure to like, share, subscribe to my channel, but also go check out Infamous Sylvia. She's giving you all this good tea on her channel, but by golly, you got to come back here, sweetheart. I got to have you back over here. This was a good meal, honey. You gave us some good tea.
Yeah, I'll be back. This is my passion right here, trying to make sure the right information is coming out, not one-sided. That's all I want.
Exactly. And did you want to put the address where to write R. Kelly? Did you want to put that in the text?
I don't have it in front of me.
Okay, no worries. We'll get to it.
But I'll send it to you. You could put it out, post it on your channel. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, y'all know how it goes. That's it. That is the podcast. And be sure to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. I want to hear from you. And until next time, we will see you when we see you. Welcome to the Only Male Cruise Show, the podcast. I am the Only Male Cruise. Be sure to hit the like button, share, subscribe, leave a comment. I want to hear from you. Copyright disclaimer regarding fair use is in full effect. The views and opinions expressed in this show, you guessed it, they're all mine. Let's go to work.